Hey guys, and welcome to my final Kickstarter update for Hate. Now, you should use this video as kind of a general 48-hour warning. It'll actually be posted a little bit early, but it's also the last one I'm going to do. So by the time you see this, if you haven't backed Hate yet, look at this video, see what's on offer, and make your decision now or very soon, because you won't be able to get it for much longer. Though I imagine the pledge manager will extend past this, so you actually have a little bit longer to late pledge. But either way, now is the time if you are in fact going to back this. Also, I do apologize for my voice ahead of time. I am still overcoming this sickness. This has wiped kind of my whole family out. I've actually had my mother here helping with the children, as we've just all been miserable and coughing, and we sound really pathetic, and it's just this upper respiratory thing that's really wreaking havoc on us. But I am kind of on the mend, which means miniature painting and videos are probably going to be back in full swing this week. But enough about that. Let's get right into it. What does $120 get you when you back Hate? It gets you 7 tribes. The 7th tribe is currently being unlocked, but more on that later. It gives you 12 mercenaries, more details on them later as well. That's a total of 89 miniatures, 14 of which are very large, plus 2 game boards, 200 plastic components to allow for 2 battles to be played simultaneously or combined for large 2v2, 2v1, and free-for-all battles, and 14 additional scenarios. Needless to say, that is a lot of content for the normal $120. It may not be the most miniatures ever, though again, at 89 with 14 of them very large, I'm talking like Prince level, right? So at least twice as tall as normal minis, about 3 times probably. That's a pretty good deal just when it comes to components. And that's not including 200 plastic components. And again, you can't forget about gameplay. The 14 additional scenarios, I believe, are huge. The 7 that they added when they added the the game board as well, is really nice. And looking at them, I don't believe, like, the pictures they show, it doesn't look like they're all the 2v2 or 2v1 or free-for-all. So there's additional gameplay, even if you don't ever do that, which is awesome. So there's 7 new scenario tiles, front and back, so plenty of content there as well. So let's get into discussing mercenaries and how they work. So every single mercenary adds a unique twist to the gameplay flow. You can think of this as the roaming monsters from Massive Darkness, if you did that or not, where each one is kind of unique and has its own kind of way it acts. Even before being captured, they change up the scenario by counterattacking or even patrolling certain zones. Here's some info on a few of them. Char, this is one of the newer people who were added. He costs an extra savagery to activate, but has extremely high stats and can use wilds as 2 saves. So he's really expensive to use, but super powerful. He's stronger than even most princes. Then there's the Clayman, a total opposite of Char. He's actually pretty small, but he may bite any KO'd enemy near him, and then they have to immediately roll for a scar. He may also activate after being KO'd. Now, I don't know if that means you just simply can't kill him, or if it's a one-time thing. I don't know, but either way, that's pretty interesting. Then there's Rail, and I view her as kind of the prince killer. She automatically scores 2 additional hits when fighting them right off the bat. So she's there just to go into the biggest, baddest guy on the field and start wailing on him. And I think that will actually create some really cool table talk between, her small miniature and a prince. It's a cool idea, and it makes your brain kind of go into overdrive imagining this scenario. The brothers Ashkar. Now, first of all, the little dude fed the big dude his own legs to help him survive. What a swell guy that one is. Now, the little guy's a shaman and the big guy's a champion, and so this is a combination between the two. That means that this guy has the stats of a champion, making him hard to bring down, but can also copy the basic skill of any other shaman in play. What that means in group play, by the way, it sounds really scary, but essentially it is a shamanistic champion. So again, cool combination. And, the little dude's awesome. Corvix. Corvix looks to be one of the, kind of important to the storyline. He's some, great and powerful shaman. He can use trees to KO enemies, and can even have trees move. So Tolkien would approve of this guy, I feel. I really think he would. Brakuta. And again, I apologize if this is a butchering of the names, so I challenge you to prove me wrong, I guess? I don't know if there's a proper way to say these or not. This guy does not have a bra, however, any defense rolled against his attacks count as additional hits instead. Though he can never KO an enemy, they will lose hate instead. So he's doing more damage, but he also can't ever actually KO you. Instead, he can just make you lose, I don't know if it's a lot of hate or a little bit of hate, or I don't know. Either way, he's going to hit you hard. And then there's Shea, and she can attack multiple targets with her little hooks and can spin savagery to add hits. So if you roll really well and you have all this hate, you can double down, add more hate, target everybody around her, and just wreak havoc. So that's also really cool. Alright, so let's get into stretch goals, and really the stretch goal I want to focus on here is the Bulgar tribe that we're currently unlocking. So it's unknown if this will stretch on for the remainder of the 2 days to unlock the prince as the last figure, though I doubt it, because again, the last 2 days are very strong for really any Kickstarter, because everybody clicks that save for later. They don't care about the Kickstarter campaign, and they just want to see what you get at the very end, whether or not it's worth it or not. And so it's going to go really fast, so I figured this isn't going to be it. But if that's not all, then what else is there? Will we maybe get Worm from the story? Is there anybody else important to the story that could be a mercenary or not? There will be more and a sneak peek at the end of this video that I believe is proof enough of what's coming, so stay tuned for that. But either way, these guys are really cool. They're known as the Moon Tribe, and they have these like satyrs, and about half of them are female, including the champion figure, which is awesome. Speaking of her, both their champion and prince count as shamans for the purpose of special abilities, which is good because they focus on mystic powers to great effect. So all their tribe cards will kind of be focusing on this idea. Many of these tribe cards focus on taking over enemy units, who join your side until the end of battle, which is devastating because not only are they losing an enemy, it may as well be KO'd, but then you have control of it. And I don't know, could you use them as cannon fodder? Essentially, because you're fighting against your own people, you don't want to KO them because then they might get scarred, right? I mean, or I don't know if they can even be dragged back. I'm not sure quite how that works, rules-wise, but it sounds very difficult to counteract. So that's a really strong ability. And again, you can use these on both the shaman and the prince and the champion. All of them count as shamans. So that's really cool. So really, it's just Youngbloods, warriors, and shamans. Even their upgrades are unique. So they start off as negatives, but when the unit KOs another unit, they swap this debuff with the other unit's upgrade, leaving their opponents with a negative effect. In other words, if you have a shaman that has like a -2 move, and they KO a enemy warrior, you get to take that enemy warrior's upgrade, and then I don't know if this is the top one or any one of your choosing, and then you get to give them your -2 move. So now they have this one that they can't get rid of until they overlap it, or remove it in some other means. And you now have this free buff. So that's really cool. That's an interesting idea. On a side note, many of their figures have war paint, which means they will stand out quite a bit, but only if painted. I'm already toying around with adding some blue hues to the war paint to add some color and help incorporate the moon aesthetics with some cool blue colors. I don't know, that I'm really excited to paint these either way. Alright, moving on to optional buys. Let's start with the Mother Prophecy. This is the big one. This is the one I think a lot of people have been waiting for. It's $25 for 4 large, 1 extremely large miniature. 4 new scenarios are used to introduce each mercenary, and each scenario can only be attempted under certain conditions and will not be easy. Each mercenary in this pack comes with their own deck of 4 cards to further differentiate themselves. So these are very hard to get. You have to meet certain conditions to even try to get them. And when you do, they're acting a certain way, based off of their cards. And then when you get them, they keep their card. And I'll get more into that in each specific one. So let's start with the Mother. The Mother can use her tribe's resources to gain activations or reroll die. And her special card uses trees to exhaust all figures within range. Now, I don't know what the word exhaust means. I apologize, I have not read the work in progress rulebook here. So if you know what that means, let me know in the comments below. Let us know so that we all kind of are on the same page here. I don't know if it just means KO, or if it just means that they lose an activation, or what, I don't know. Now, the Moon Champion forces the tribe to sacrifice a Youngblood to include him. However, he may very well be worth it. So he's going to actually take 2 slots, it sounds like. All princes must reroll successes against him, and he can use his card to double his stats for a burst of power. So not only is it hard for princes to actually take him down, but he can buff up with a burst of damage using his card. Flea is riding a horse that allows her to cross the battlefield in a single move, and she moves another mercenary freely with her. As a leader, her card allows her to freely activate all warriors. As such a large miniature, she takes up 2 spots on the board, opening up for more tactical choices because she's technically occupying more than one, so her kill range is much larger. Now, the twins, the biggest for last, is a humongous miniature. The twins themselves, so the guy on top, is the size of a Varn or a normal prince. And then add to that his mount, and he takes up 6 spaces. He can charge across the board, damaging anyone in his way, and he can even carry other figures with him as he moves around. His card allows him to deal damage to all enemies around him, potentially crippling an entire force with a single attack. Moving on from the Mother Prophecy, there's also the tribe of Vornash, which are dragon people, yes. A very unique tribe in both aesthetics and gameplay. Their units can hide, being replaced by a savagery token and then pop out of the shadows several spaces away to attack, with a buff if properly upgraded. Additionally, they have 20 bait tokens, 10 minor and 10 major baits. They are placed on the battlefield and can have rewards such as hate or extra moves, but can also have traps such as a loss of savagery, resources, dice, or outright KOs. The Vornash tribe can choose to look at these baits and can even push enemy units into them. Now, I love their armor style, and the fact that their skin can be quite bright is a huge plus. Okay, the last optional buys I'm going to go through pretty quick because they're mostly just component upgrades. So there's 3D plastic plateaus. There are 5 different shapes to the plateaus, allowing for a variety of configurations, and they lot together really nicely. They are slightly shorter than a normal unit. There's also the 3D plastic hut. The plastic huts will look amazing painted, but sadly the detail means they probably won't stack. They allow you to simply lift them to reveal the token underneath instead of flipping a board tile, and they are a bit shorter than a prince. The 3D plastic trees are cool and quite large, and they fit across 4 tiles and are about as tall as a prince. And then of course you can get 6 additional red die, and what can I say, it's another pair of die. Note that you get 2 sets already in the core pledge, but both are black, and so these look really nice. Now, I will say, with all of these 3D plastic upgrades that are optional buys, if you want a set to allow for simultaneous play, in other words, 2 complete separate scenarios of 1v1, you're going to have to buy 2 of each. So, just keep that in mind. I personally am planning on just getting 1 because I want to paint them and I want my set to look good. I don't particularly see the need for having 2 different ones, both look, super good at the same time. But if you want to, if you have the money, go for it. Alright, so where are we at with the funding level? At the time of filming, Hate has broken $1 million in backing money with almost 7,700 backers, and is steadily climbing with 65 hours to go. Can backers unlock an entire other tribe? Unsure if it can be done, but a lot can happen in the last 48 hours, so we'll see. Which, of course, leads me perfectly into the sneak peek. So, the last video I showed some upcoming miniatures, and this time it seems a whole painted tribe has been leaked early. Since they are more normal, I expect this to actually be another stretch goal. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but a lot of the optional buys, especially when it comes to a whole tribe, have been the more unique ones, like the dragon people, the undead plant people, or a mercenary pack with really cool mercenaries, and this is not that. Not to say these don't look cool. I personally love the hair color choice on the female in the front. I was gonna say it was a shaman, but it looks like she has a big weapon, which makes me think maybe not. Maybe the shaman is a person behind her, though that might be the young blood as well. I can't quite tell. And the pose for the prince is really, really cool. I like that he has the 2 swords. You can see the hilts there, and he's got his kind of axe raised. The axe seems a little small, but either way, looks like a cool additional tribe that we will get. And really, guys, that's it. That's my final update for the Hate Kickstarter. I hope you enjoyed these updates and hope that you found them helpful. And I hope this helps you inform on whether or not you think this is good to back. If you are against backing this, if you're for it, I'd love to hear your reasoning one way or the other in the comments below. If you did enjoy this video or if it was helpful for you in any way, please give it a thumbs up. I always appreciate that. Go ahead and click subscribe if you want to see these painted. I am backing this, and eventually I will get it, and I will review it, and I will play it, and I will paint it, and you will see all of that. So I look forward to that. I'm also going to be doing a Nemesis video here very shortly, so look for the final video on the Nemesis Kickstarter as well. Guys, thanks so much. Thanks for putting up with my voice if it's been at all an issue during this. Thanks for putting up with me not painting quite as much as I've been sick and dealing with kids and my wife being out and all that stuff. I posted a video to hopefully help you guys understand where that has been, but I will start doing that more. I appreciate it, and thanks again for watching.